In a club like PSG, it's easy to be overlooked. A stadium full of flashbulbs, a team sheet with World Cup winners, a bench stacked with promise and pressure. Somewhere between the headlines and the highlight reels, there's a young man who hasn't stopped running, literally and metaphorically. Bradley Barcola, a winger forged in the fires of Lyon's academy, a player who dribbles like the street still lives in him, but thinks like someone 10 years older. He's not the loudest voice in the room, he's not the flashiest name in the lineup, but when the lights are brightest, he shows up, subtle, slick, smart. But talent, as we know, isn't always enough at this level. PSG want more. Fans demand results, and the market never sleeps. Rumours swirl: Liverpool, Milan, Bayern. Is Barcola the future of Paris, or the star they'll regret losing? In today's video, we unravel the story of Bradley Barcola, his rise, his style, his choices. Because every talent faces the moment of truth, and for Barcola, that moment is now. Every city has its pulse, and in Lyon, football is in the bloodstream. Nestled just outside the city centre, not a footballing hub in the traditional sense, but home to one of France's brightest modern talents. At just 8 years of age, he entered into the Lyon Academy. For a local boy, this wasn't just a club, it was a dream come true. Lyon's academy has produced legends: Karim Benzema, Hatem Ben Arfa, Alexandre Lacazette. Barcola, he was kind of quiet, focused, understated, but once the ball touched his feet, it was clear this kid had something special. His movement was natural, his dribbling slippery and instinctive, and perhaps most importantly, he listened, he adapted. Then came the 22-23 season, which was his breakout year. Barcola ended the season with 5 goals and 9 assists in the league, all at just the age of 20. He wasn't just productive, he was poetic, fast, but he was in control, stylish, but purposeful. Lyon saw him not as a prospect, but as the next pillar. But as we know, football does not wait. And across the country, a project had been forming for quite some time. One that saw in Barcola not just promise, but power. When PSG came calling in the summer of 2023, the move did feel quite inevitable. Lyon needed the money, Paris needed youth, and Barcola, he needed the next challenge. 45 million euro, the fee was loud, but Barcola himself remained quiet, just as he always had. In many ways, he arrived in the capital not as a star, but as a puzzle piece. Luis Enrique's PSG was in transition, with Messi gone, Neymar sold, and a new identity forming around pace, pressing, and versatility. Barcola fit the mold. He could press high, carry the ball forward, dribble in tight spaces, and he didn't demand the spotlight. His first few months, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Of course, in the initial stage, he did show flashes of brilliance, great involvement on that left-hand side. But some of the consistency, of course, it was still forming. He's a new player at a new team, and he's a young player as well. Especially in this new PSG, it's not always just enough to play well. You have to excel every single week. When you're competing with the likes of Mbappe, Dembélé, Kolo Muani when he was there, Gonzalo Ramos is there, Doué is of course now the leading player in that position. You got Kvaratskhelia, who they signed in January as well. Sometimes you could be that 4th or 5th attacking option, but his role, wide, isolated, sometimes underused, the numbers were always things that hinted at something a little bit deeper. According to the stats, he ranked in the top 10% of wingers in Ligue 1 for progressive carries, successful take-ons, and expected assists per 90 minutes, and he averaged around 2.79 completed dribbles per game, would create more chances per 90 than either Kolo Muani and even Dembélé at the time. Yet, even in growth, the shadows returned. And as I mentioned before, with the signings of Kvaratskhelia and Desire Doué, more wingers, more questions. For Barcola, every start feels like a test. Every substitution feels like a signal. And behind the scenes, clubs are watching. He's not the flashiest of dribblers. He doesn't shoot from 30 yards. He rarely celebrates like a star. But Bradley Barcola, he's built for the modern game. Sharp, efficient, positionally intelligent. Barcola is a wide forward with an old school feel, but a modern brain. He operates almost exclusively on the left-hand side, starting high and wide, stretching defensive shapes and forcing fullbacks to make a decision. Engage him and he'll glide past, stand off and he'll burst inside. His dribbling style isn't flashy, it's functional. Every feint has a purpose, every touch has direction. With 2.79 successful dribbles per 90 and over 4 progressive passes per match, he constantly shifts PSG forward even when he doesn't get the assist. In fact, few players in Ligue 1 this season created more expected assists from open play. His combinations with players like Mendes or Dembélé or Kvaratskhelia or whoever's on the pitch at the time created consistent danger down that left-hand side. But it's the subtle things that define him. The way he slows down to read a fullback's hips, the way he ghosts into space when the centre-backs collapse on the striker, the patience, the balance, the sense that he's always 1 second ahead. He's also a relentless presser, a key reason Luis Enrique trusts him in certain big games. Against sides like Lille or Marseille, he registered more ball recoveries in the final third than both Dembélé and Kvaratskhelia. Barcola might not always be seen, but he's always felt. He's the kind of player who sharpens a system, who elevates others, who makes the team better without shouting about it. In a squad packed with fireworks, Barcola is the scalpel. Quiet, clinical, and increasingly hard to ignore. As we know, football does not wait, and at 22 years of age, Bradley Barcola is standing at a crossroads. PSG was never going to be simple for Bradley Barcola. The pressure, the politics, the pace of it all, and now, of course, with Dembélé playing through the middle, Doué on the left, Kvaratskhelia on the right or the left, Barcola's space is shrinking. Not because he isn't good enough, but because PSG rarely makes space for slow burners. In another team, Barcola might already be a starter. Liverpool have shown concrete interest, drawn by his pressing intelligence, his fit on the left under Arne Slot, and his capacity to create space for others in transition-heavy systems, and also as well with the fact that Luis Diaz or Cody Gakpo might be leaving in the summer. Arsenal in the past have also had credited interest in Bradley Barcola. Could they potentially be looking for someone who can cover or potentially replace Martinelli on that left-hand side under Mikel Arteta? Let's wait and see. Other clubs like Dortmund and RB Leipzig have also had previous interest when he was still at Lyon. Barcola, he's a player who might never make the back pages, but he might win you a match. And maybe, just maybe, we haven't even seen the best version of Bradley Barcola. Because for all the noise around him, the numbers tell us one thing clearly. He is producing, he is progressing, and he is not done. So what comes next? That depends on PSG's faith, on Barcola's patience, and on whether someone out there decides to build around the player he's becoming, not the one he's already been. But one thing is for certain, Bradley Barcola was never just another winger. He's something subtler, something smarter, something sharper. And wherever he ends up, he won't just play, he'll shift the rhythm. Big up everybody, thanks for watching the video. Let me know in the comments, where should Barcola go next? Should he just stay in Paris or should he test himself elsewhere? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel and I'll catch you guys soon. Peace!